Heroes give us something to aspire to look up to, and sometimes villains allow us to see darker parts of ourselves in a new light, allowing us to accept and acknowledge these parts of ourselves that most need our attention. After all, nobody's perfect. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. This is Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. You can find me over on Twitter at VampX13. Whether you fight on the side of good or the side of evil in comics, there is power in both. Today we'll be counting down the top 10 most powerful women of DC Comics and taking a look at both sides of the spectrum. Let's jump into it. Number 10. Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl is a hero who is known for belonging to part of the elite superhero team, the Justice League. She is actually the reincarnation of Shra, who was punished for helping to save Hecate the Deathbringer, despite his misdeeds. As punishment, Shra could never permanently die, and instead would be reincarnated into a new life, keeping with her all the memories of her previous lives, which gives her a lot of experience to use and means that she is extremely wise when it comes to tactics, fighting, and even approaches to science and advancement. Hecate the Deathbringer was also cursed to be reincarnated and is known as Hawkgirl's partner, Hawkman, in his current incarnation. Hawkgirl also has wings, can fly, and I believe currently her wings are also infused with nth metal still? I think that's still a thing. Aside from that, Kendra Saunders is also super strong, durable, and has a reasonably potent healing factor. Always helpful to heal. Number 9. Dr. Light. No, not that Dr. Light, don't worry. We're talking about the second Dr. Light, the heroic Dr. Light, Kimio Hoshi. In the New Earth continuity, Dr. Light was not at all related to Arthur Light, the original Dr. Light, known for being a major villain. Instead, she was actually a hero who happened to get blasted with energy from the Vega Star when Monitor reached out to create a champion after sensing the anti-Monitor and kind of getting spooked by his destructive vibes. Monitor was like, I don't think so, gonna just shoot some star energy out, and hopefully that hits someone who is gonna be a cool hero. Fingers crossed. Dr. Light is a scientist and astronomer turned into a hero who can tap into energy from the Vega Star, giving her almost unlimited power. She can use this energy to create illusions and energy constructs, blast her enemies, fly, and phase. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want to show your love for us on another place, in another platform, head on over to Facebook, click that follow, click that like. It really does help us out here at the channel, so thank you. Number 8. Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is one of the most powerful women around when it comes to villains in the DC universe. While she doesn't often act as a global threat, we learned in the Everyone Loves Ivy arc that if she wanted to, she could do that. Ivy in more recent years has flirted with a path of redemption, sometimes acting as a more morally conscious villain, and other times even acting as a hero or an anti-hero. In fact, even when she took over the world, she kind of had a pretty fair reason for why she should actually rule it. After all, things go a lot more smoothly and are a lot better overall for everyone, the planet especially included, when she is in charge. However, this also means that people don't really get to have free will, so that's not so great. Obviously. Which is why people were like, look, Ivy, you can't just control the world. People gotta mess it up with their free will. Free will, you know? Number 7. Hera. Hera isn't just a woman, she's also a goddess, one of the most powerful of the female goddesses of the Greek pantheon. Hera in Wonder Woman Historia the Amazons, which tells the tale of how the Amazons came to be, is seen as the goddess who kind of like rules over all of the others. Like, not explicitly, but she definitely influences them a lot. She's the one that calls the shots. She is the one who typically commands them, and although she did not choose to aid them in creating the Amazons, she sneakily sent them some aid in her own way in the form of their to-be queen, the human woman Hippolyta, who would actually rise to become an Amazon. She is Zeus's wife, but despite her position as his partner, she's one of the few women in Greek mythology who would dare to trick him, spurn him, or even sometimes fight against him. Also, if you haven't read Wonder Woman Historia the Amazons, you should go read it. It's really pretty, it's really great. I need to get like a tattoo somewhere from issue 1, I feel like, that is from that book because it's just so stunning. Number 6. Supergirl. Hera might be a goddess, and Supergirl, you know, doesn't have that title, but she kind of may as well have it. Supergirl is a Kryptonian known often for being Superman's cousin. In fact, originally Kara Zor-El was his older cousin who was sent after him in order to protect him. However, she kind of got stuck in like the Earth's orbit, and her arrival on Earth was delayed. Pre her arrival, during the time when she was still in stasis, barely aging, Superman arrived on Earth and basically grew up. By the time that Kara-Zor-El did land, Kal-El had aged to be older than her. So she's older in terms of like her technical birth date, if she had a Kryptonian birth certificate or license, but younger in terms of her experience living and her physical appearance. I didn't talk about her powers at all, but you guys all know who Supergirl is. She is super strong. Superman, he's really strong. Supergirl, also really strong. I more wanted to just talk about how she's younger, I guess, but also older. It's a weird fun thing. Number 5, Hecate. One of the most powerful women in the DC universe is Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft. While she belongs to the Greek pantheon, in truth, Hecate is a goddess who is much more powerful and older than any group of gods around. We actually learned during the Witching Hour event that she, in fact, was asked to join the Greek pantheon and actually chose to accept that offer. She represents the power of magic, and in many ways the magic of the world and possibly of the universe is tied to her. Although she can be killed, it takes a lot of power to defeat Hecate, and even after her seeming demise, as the other kind pretty much tore her apart, her power lived on in Circe, who had plotted for a way to basically take all of Hecate's power for herself, as she was one of the 5 witch-marked. And after being the only one remaining, she basically became the sole possessor of Hecate's power. Number 4, Naomi. Naomi is probably one of the most powerful of the newer heroes that we've seen in the DC universe. Her powers are on the level of heavy hitters such as Superman. In fact, while transformed into her superhero mode, Naomi's power set is pretty similar, except for one very important and unique element of her powers. Unlike Superman, whose weakness is magic, Naomi actually bolsters and boosts magic around her. Her powers allow her to generate energy, which she can use in a few different ways. In combat, using it to blast opponents, or to give her a physical boost. Alternatively, she can use that same energy to boost magic and magical beings around her, which is pretty neat. However, as Naomi is still young, despite her potential, she's still some learning to do when it comes to her power set and how to best utilize and control it, which is the only reason why she ranks so low. I feel like Naomi with time could be somewhere right near the top of this list. She's pretty nuts. I love it. Number 3, Circe. While Hecate and Hera are both goddesses, at one point Circe is even more powerful than both of them after she takes within herself all of Hecate's power, which allows her to tap into the source of magic. Even without being able to tap into the source of magic though, Circe is known for being a fearsome and powerful witch who can easily defeat many of those who would stand against her. Circe can shapeshift, teleport, possess others, manipulate time, and is considered to be immortal. Despite her youthful appearance, Circe is actually more than 1,000 years old. Number 2, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, despite having to face Circe and sometimes seemingly being slightly bested by her, always ends up coming out on top in the end, at least in main continuity, and at least usually. And so for that reason, I think it makes sense that she takes one of our top spots, especially above one of her most iconic and most powerful foes. Wonder Woman in recent years has also ascended to a temporary cosmic level of godhood, on top of already being a demigoddess as the daughter of Zeus and Hippolyta in prime continuity anyways. As a result of her origin, Wonder Woman has divine superhuman abilities, making her super fast, strong, dexterous, and durable, on top of all the other awesome stuff that she can do, like lead an army as a master tactician and communicate with animals. Wonder Woman, she can do it all. What can't she do? Number 1, Raven. Raven is one of the most powerful women in the DC universe. In fact, she is so powerful that she actually has to rein in her power in order to keep the rest of the world safe. That is why she often seems so detached. It's because her powers directly link up to her emotional responses. To get too swept up in emotion would mean a loss of control over her powers, which could potentially result in a darker side taking hold of her. We've seen what happens when this takes place, and it gives us one of Raven's most powerful forms. Although when she manages to evolve from darkness back to light, she can actually become even more powerful. As we see in the New Earth continuity, after she turns evil, attacks Starfire and Nightwing's wedding, and then later on is killed, but in dying actually becomes free of her evil demonic father Trigon's influence. With him defeated, she is free to rise again, purified of his corruption. And she gets a cool white cape, so that's bonus, you know? Who doesn't want a cool white cape? I love capes. I should be wearing a cape right now. Who is your favorite female powerhouse in the DC universe? Who is your favorite hero and your favorite villain? Who do you think is the most powerful and why? Is it someone on this list or is it someone else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.